Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back.
We're back.
Sure are. Before we get into this week's episode, last week, we actually forgot to do...
The real crime, I think, was the beard.
Where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. So yeah, we forgot last week. I didn't even clock it until I was editing. So we thought we would do it for you now, and then we can get into this episode. Now I have one that I suspect you will really agree with. My one is that that 18-month-old Shane's hair was longer than my hair has ever been, and he has barely touched earth, and I just don't know how that is fair or acceptable.
I feel like men always have like long hair, better
and
eyelashes.
Yeah, it's very
and if
rude.
Ghanaian, a better ass. Like it's
it's very, very. That's all the egg.
It's rigged. Yeah,
the game is rigged.
Mine was that your surname is Nance or Nance, and then you call your daughter Nettie. That was very unfair. There was no hope for her. There was no... Yep. She wasn't given a chance.
Right.
No leg up in life. No... Nothing. It was really like, life is going to be shit, and we as your parents will make it shitter.
It's very indicative of the fact that they stole her.
Because if you had
you wouldn't give that name.
Yeah, you wouldn't. If you carried a child for 9 months, that's not what you're going to name it. Trust me. So...
Yeah. Right.
Here, and this is said by the girl whose parents gave her a name with 4 N's. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's a very common name.
It's a very common name in a different continent, but in the one we're currently in now, it's a tongue twister.
Oh, fuck this continent, fam.
Yeah.
Right, so this week we are focusing on a case we've actually covered before, but this documentary kind of focuses more on the case. That sounds very strange, but the last episode we did on this was episode 60, which was before spooky season. Still worth giving that one a listen because it goes more into his mind and like why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
This one goes more into the case and also his fucked up family, which I think is probably the most interesting part of this documentary.
Yeah, I actually hated this documentary so much.
Yeah, it was really higgy hagger, honestly.
It was so difficult to like watch.
Follow.
And yeah.
Very higgy hagger. I mean, I think that it gave more, I think it gave more information about the actual crime than the last documentary we covered on him. And that all the stuff that we kind of Googled at the end of that episode, if you remember, they kind of go into detail about that here. So, I mean, it was useful for that, but it was very... And the thing is, it wasn't actually a documentary. It really was just an episode of one of these, like, Dateline type shows.
Yeah.
It's called Inside Evil with some guy called Chris Cuomo. I don't know if you'd heard of him.
No,
same.
It was almost like, the only way I can describe it, it was like somebody wrote bullet points and then the bullet points were put into like visual form. Like there was Yeah,
it was very higgy-hagger. It was very strange. But we're going to get into it and we're going to do the best we can because we always do what? A good job. So this case takes place in Abilene, Texas. And we meet this lady. And I say we meet this lady. We don't actually meet her. She just appears at some point in the documentary. Like, she just appears, right? Mm-hmm. And so she is saying how, she remembers seeing Ella's body. And so we can kind of deduce from this that she is a detective on the case because they don't tell us that. But, 1 + 1 is 2. We hear parts of the actual 911 call throughout the documentary.
I accidentally killed somebody.
You think you killed somebody?
No, I know I did.
And we hear the operator on the phone basically giving him instructions, like saying, look, you're going to do CPR, do this and stuff.
I want you to start CPR, okay? What I want you to do is take her off the bed.
No, I know for a fact that she's dead because
Do you want to go ahead and try? It might still help, okay?
No, I don't think it'll help because...
Come on, Darius, work with me.
I know I stabbed her lots of times.
The operator's like, okay, but try, like, it might still help. And he's like, no, it's not going to help. I stopped her loads of times. And it's like, bro, like...
Just fucking try.
Like, if you try, like, if this was really an accident, or, like, you were really, like, shocked or, oh, my days, I really want to help. Like, it's like...
Try,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, you got the desired outcome, and they're trying to say, no, let's help to change that outcome, and you're like, no, bro, like, she's dead. That's what I wanted. It's like, stop trying to ask me to help.
Literally, it's so weird. Like, it's not going to cost you anything to try, so just fucking try. Like, if she doesn't make it, fine, but like, at least try.
And you can say you tried. Yeah, exactly. So we know about his sister Ella. She's 4 years old. We learn a bit more about her in that she loves butterflies and her favorite color is purple, just like a normal 4-year-old girl.
Yeah.
A stereotypical girl. As we heard in our previous episode, his mum's called Charity Lee. She was working that night, and then Paris convinced the babysitter to leave early, right? And I kind of wonder how the babysitter feels. I mean, also, like, he might have killed her, because that was one of the plans, I think, was to like, kill her as well. So I guess she probably is grateful for, being alive. So as we know, they go to the workplace. They tell her that Ella is hurt. So the wording, they say to her, oh, Ella's hurt. So she's kind of like, okay, well, where is she? Like, let me go and, make sure my baby's okay.
Yeah, my baby's okay.
She doesn't think it's that big of a deal. And then they're like, no, like, she's dead. And Charity's first thing is like, where is Paris? Like, is he hurt as well?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what's happened? Yeah. And they have to then tell this grieving mother that her other child killed her child.
But you can just tell Charity's a good mum. Like,
she is, but I just don't know if it's normal to be this good of a mum. Like, I don't know. Like,
until you have birthed a child, you do not know. Like, and that's why I'm just like, yeah, you know what? Because at a point he was all she had left. Like, until you've actually birthed the child. And I feel like, I mean, we'll talk more about their relationship, but I feel like she's honest about who he is.
She knows her child, basically. She knows the child that she birthed, which is always a very helpful thing.
Yeah, like, she knows her child. Like, it's simple as, like, we all, I mean, we've all at a time in our lives loved somebody who was problematic, or at least liked. We're women. By default, we probably have. So
yeah, because we're straight women, so
yeah, straight women. So coming out hetero.
Yeah, headies. Hashtag heady. I mean, and I don't have any children, so I can't relate. Yeah. And hopefully we'll never be able to relate. But like, in terms of the killings,
amen.
I mean, I'm not judging Charity for how she's acted or anything that she's done in this situation. I think I just find it really hard to put myself in her mind space and think, how is she even? Like, how is she even? Like, still?
I feel like this is how I would be if, God forbid, this kind of situation presented itself. I think this is exactly how I would be.
Yeah. So Charity explains in great detail what happens when she goes to see Ella. Because the narrator guy, Chris, is like, oh, who did you go to see first? Like, did you go and see Paris or did you go and see Ella? Because obviously Ella's dead and Paris is in jail. Or in custody, rather. So she says that she went to see Ella. Ella's in a body bag, and they unzip her down to her chin just so Charity can identify her and see her. And she's like crying and screaming that she's sorry, like she should have been there. And I feel like mum guilt is like something that is just like
you can't even, you can't.
Like, even if it's a small thing, like, you're like, oh, I should have been there, I should have been there. There's no way you can always be there. Like, it's not possible. Yeah,
but it's patriarchy at its finest because fathers do not feel father guilt. It is patriarchy at its... Because I finally watched Insecure, and I was watching the episode with condolences, and... Have you watched the latest episode that came out today?
Yeah, I just watched it down,
Yeah. So I was watching that thing with condolences and what's his name?
Lawrence. Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence. And I just feel like the standards expected for guys are so different. Like, if it was a woman who had this baby and then she continued to do her job that was in a different state and come on the weekends, it would be like, oh my gosh, like, what the... I'm not saying that...
Yeah, it would, but then also, like, she was basically like, listen, you can be in the life or not be in the life, I don't give a fuck, right?
No, trust me, I'm not saying that she made it, like, I'm not on her side in this.
I hate her even more now because she's made me agree with a man. Like, she's made me on the side of a man, and like, what is that? Like, how wrong do you have to be for me to now side with a man?
She's loud and wrong. The only bit that was like, is just seeing her look after the kid, and then Lawrence was like having
the
sex.
The day of everything. Yeah.
I need to rewind that sex scene though. It looks great. But
he loves a missionary.
But he's good at it. Yeah. Listen, missionary. I know this ain't that pod, but I'm gonna just say this now, and you can quote me on it. Missionary is the best position ever. I think
when in love.
When in love. And when done right, it's chef's kiss.
She says chef's kiss.
All the others are because you ain't getting that missionary right and tight. When you're switching positions back and forth like Ariana Grande, it's because that one that you should be doing, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing.
I don't know how we got from murdering your sister to missionary, but here we are.
Here we are. Versatile. Range. So she the next day she sees Ella in the body bag, because obviously I keep calling him Dylan. Like, in my head I keep calling him Dylan instead of Paris. I don't know
Who's
why.
Dylan? How about who that?
I don't know, but don't you think Paris gives quite Dylan vibes? Like, he could be a Dylan. He could have easily been
He
named
definitely
Dylan.
doesn't give Paris vibes, but yeah.
Right. Definitely Dylan vibes. But yeah, if I do
could've.
mess up and say Dylan, then I do mean Paris. But yeah. So the next day, she's sitting in a defense attorney's office talking about Paris, which is just so wild. She says that he's really cold. And it's like, my brother, I guess he had to be cold to kill his sister. But Charity's really happy to see him. And like Foren said before, it's like, that's her only child left. Like, I mean, do you know, I can understand that, like, you're just happy that you have one. Like, I've lost my child and I still have one. Like, you're just grateful. Like, you probably don't really deep the fact that I don't have the other one because of this one. You're just kind of happy that you have this one. But yeah, it's not like they were both attacked and like he survived. Like, he literally is the reason that her other child is not there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
it's
so
very
fucked.
weird. I don't know what.
Very,
yeah.
very weird.
Yeah.
Very, very weird. So Charity's crying and, hugging him, and then she clocks that he's not really hugging her back.
He said to me, you always said that you would never be able to kill somebody unless they hurt one of your children. So what are you gonna do now?
I said, what in the
It's like he's
child?
taunting her. He's like, and what you gonna do about it?
Yeah, you gonna kill me? You gonna kill me?
Literally.
Very strange behaviour. He never apologised, according to Charity.
Yeah.
And this talking head, who turns out to be a detective, can see right through Paris. Like, she says that, he's very manipulative, and she thinks that Paris killed Ella on purpose, which I think we can all deduce. Stab someone by accident 17 times. Like, that doesn't happen.
He said he was hallucinating and she was a demon. Like, okay, yeah, sure,
I was
Jan.
like, okay, Jan, literally, like... We see footage from Ella's funeral. We find out she used to want to be a singer, which is so cute. Like, you can just imagine her twirling with her little pretend microphone.
I know.
And Charity just breaks down, and you just think, God, like, how are you even still here? Like, how do you wake up? Like, do you wake up and just eat breakfast? Like, how the day, the mechanics
Your
of your day,
life just changes over fucking
Yeah.
night. Like, what the hell?
wild. So she's telling us about how when she went to court, it was really weird because she was the mother of the victim and the mother of the perpetrator.
Yeah.
And she didn't really know where to sit because they're both her children. And of course, like, Paris is the one that's alive. So she kind of says that she eventually just started sitting in the middle because, like, what can she do? Which is just really strange. Yeah. So they need to determine whether Paris was actually having these hallucinations that we spoke about, right? So his dad, we learn, has paranoid schizophrenia, but that doesn't matter because the detective thinks that Paris is lying about these hallucinations anyway. So it's not as if he actually has a mental condition. He just is pretending that he's having these hallucinations.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned before, Ella was stabbed 17 times. And so Charity finds this out and is like to Paris, bro, like, did you do this on purpose? Because you definitely did this on purpose. Because 17 times.
Yeah, one or two times, fair enough. But 17 times.
Yeah, 17
that
times.
is overkill at the best.
And she's 4 years older. Where did you even find the space to?
Yeah,
like,
literally on her little body.
On her small body, like.
And she must have been dead by the third stab, or at least unconscious.
And literally, and in all that time, you didn't regain, the hallucination didn't stop. In all that time, you were still just, yeah. So Paris looks at her and is like, "Oh, y'all are so fucking stupid," and he laughs at her. I don't know why I gave him that voice. You a stupid hoe. You a stupid hoe. But Paris is convicted. He gets 40 years. So at this time, I think he's 13. Is he 13 when this happens, or 14 or something?
He must be. Years. He's either 13 or 14 when he gets convicted. But I think he stabbed her at 13.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I guess the case would have taken some time. So when he's 15, he's diagnosed with psychopathy. He somehow seems to convince people that he's normal. People think, oh, he's so charming and so lovely. And Charity is like, yeah, okay, that is, correct. But also, two things can be true. He can be charming and lovely and also brutally murder his sister. And then this is where she kind of drops that whole like, oh, he kind of gained some sort of sexual satisfaction from it. Which, remember, at the end of our last episode, we were kind of like, the fuck? What a cliffhanger. It wasn't really a cliffhanger because we Googled that, but then it was the cliffhanger on the episode. Anyway, so yeah, they do a sexual assault kit during Ella's autopsy, and it's negative. But they think that, well, the detective specifically thinks that Paris may have been molesting his sister, and that his sister was going to tell, and that's why he killed her. I kind of feel like it's the same with all these justice law people. They just basically make a story, and they're like, okay, cool, this story makes sense. So this is the story that we're going to sell to the jury, and that's going to make sense. Because, like, it doesn't really make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, what? So it was just this night she decided she was going to tell the little 4-year-old. Would she even be aware of what was really happening? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, strange. But the detective also says that Paris admitted to watching porn, and he got off on it before he killed Ella because there was, like, forensic evidence of semen, like, around.
But he was 13, like, he probably had semen all over him. Like,
all
that's
over
what
the
they
place,
do at that age.
Literally.
Have you seen that TikTok of the girl wearing that shirt? And they're like some white stains on it.
Her brother's.
Yeah, it's like, this is my brother's shirt. And then she's like, oh my God.
She's like, no one should say, this is my brother's shirt. I got it from his room.
Literally.
Yeah, that was so funny. That was actually really funny.
I don't know what I'm going to do if I have a son and he gets to that stage.
What do you mean? What can you do? He's going to get to that stage.
I know, but like, talk to your daddy.
It reminds me of that episode of My Wife and Kids where Junior was just in the bathroom for time with all the magazines. And then he's like, I think I broke it.
Go talk to your daddy, because I don't want to see it. I don't want to... I can deal with the female aspects, but... Yeah, man, those boys are horny with their hard rock socks or rock hard socks. I can't.
Yeah. Paris says that he sexually assaulted his sister, but then he says that he was lying about it. I don't know. This was weird. I was like, bro, like, is everything okay? Like, of all the things to lie
Obviously
about,
not.
why would you? I mean, nothing was okay. Yeah.
Literally. I think they're asking the wrong questions.
Honestly. So Chris Cuomo goes to see Paris at prison, and it's just like the same thing as the Piers Morgan interview. Like, he's bold. He has those weird glasses. He takes them off for the thing. He just talks a lot. He says nothing at all. Like, he just chats shits. Like, and it's so weird because some of the old pictures and stuff of him, he actually was a really handsome guy. Like, he
could have been a model. He was buff.
Yes. He had that kind of like jaw structure, kind of like model-esque kind of vibes. And now when we see him, he just looks like some 40-year-old man that like steals your ball if it goes into his backyard. Like, it's so weird. He just looks so strange.
Yeah, God doesn't like evil.
Yeah, God don't like ugly. So yeah, we see a lot of home footage in this documentary as well, probably more than in the last documentary that we did.
Yeah.
And we see a clip that we only saw part of in the last documentary.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite word? Or sentence. Your least favorite sentence. I don't know.
Paris is like, what's your least favorite sentence? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, kill Charity's children. And Charity is like, Paris, like, kind of like, what the fuck? Like, you hear it. I mean, I would have played it, but like the audio is a bit weird. So it's like the mom is literally like, what the fuck? Like, she doesn't say it, but that's how she says his name. She's like, Paris, like, what the fuck?
That's what, if your kid says to you, you have to take him to the nearest church for exorcism, because that is not normal. Jesus.
Honestly. And like, kids are weird, but like, this is weird. Did you see?
Because where do you think of that dark shit? Like,
literally, that's
kids
so
are weird.
where?
Like going in and getting stuck in the revolving doors. Not like, I'm gonna kill you.
Fam, did you see that TikTok of the kids?
Yeah, I just kept saying that. I would have been like, Cam. I would have been like, Lily. Like, I don't know how that mother kept calm and carried on, but it seemed like that was not her first kid, because if it was me, I would have broken
you can hear other kids in the background.
I would have dismantled the whole thing. I would have been screaming. I would have been weeping. Yeah.
So for context, there was like, you know, those like Lazy Susan, so like those like drawers that have the spinny things, right? So you spin around and they have like saucers on it and stuff. This baby, maybe he was, I don't know, he must have been like, what, 2, 3? I don't know. I can't tell baby ages.
Toddler like 2.
He was stuck inside it. I don't know how the hell this man was going to find himself inside.
And so when calm.
In the video, like, you can't even see him initially. I was like, what's she doing looking at the sauces? And then you just hear like, Mom. And you're like, wait. Mommy, literally. So that's the kind of weird shit that kids
honey,
do.
Push it with your legs. And I'm like,
she's like, watch your fingers. I'm
like, child, I would have been screaming. I would have called my husband from work. You need to come right now. The baby's stuck.
You would have called the fire brigade and been like, my baby's stuck.
I would have called FBI, like Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider?
There is no one I wouldn't have called. CIA, everybody come to this house right now.
Do you know what? I think when you have enough kids, after a while, you're just kind of like, do you know what?
Yeah, everyone says that. You do all these things with your first one. Your second one, like, you let them sleep on the floor. Like, you just don't care at that point because you realise they're not as fragile.
And you could tell she had other kids because you could hear other kids, like, just chatting shit in the background. So you could tell she just like, do you know what, fam, this has happened. Worst has happened.
Yeah, and they've survived. Fine. Yeah,
babies are quite resilient. I mean, for the most part, they are quite resilient. So
yeah, they are. Like,
it's like what is it called? Like, it's not ignorance is bliss, but that kind of thing. Like, babies would be walking and like you'd be thinking, oh my god, they're gonna fall or something bad will happen. But because they're so oblivious of their like imminent danger, more time
their best life. Yeah,
they just live their best life, man. I hate them.
Defund them.
So now we get into some stuff we didn't get in the first documentary that we did. Paris says that he was feeling pain and hurt towards his mum because she started using drugs again, right? So Charity used to be or used to suffer from addiction, and then she kind of got clean. Basically most of Charity's life, most of Paris's life, and then she starts using about a year before any of this murder stuff happens.
Yeah.
He does these drawings to express himself, and they're just shit drawings. They're like stick men with crosses as eyes and blood as tears, and it's just like, okay, can you be a bit more creative in your grief, because this is very boring. This is not giving at all.
It's not giving what you thought it gave. It's giving like, I want you to think I'm crazy, but I'm actually not.
But I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Precisely. So yeah, I mean, her relapsing made him angry, which, I mean, I get it, because you see a change in your mum, you know, like things are different, and he's angry, and it seems like he's punishing her for that. Which, I mean, this is very drastic. You could have just like stolen her hairdryer or something. I don't know.
Literally, or stop talking to her.
Like a whole lot. And why did Ella have to suffer? Strange vibes. So now we get into Charity's mum murdering her dad, allegedly, right?
This is why they say some you know when some Nigerians say like some people have like generational curses. This family is a perfect candidate for that theory, because it actually just doesn't make sense that like every generation there's like a murder within the same family.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's very mad. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense, honestly. So Chris Cuomo, and you know when they do these episodes like Dateline kind of stuff, like he has that narrator voice, like he's like nature versus nurture. That is the question.
The age-old question, nature versus nurture, looms over this crime. For it's not the first time murder has struck this family.
For it's not the first time murder has struck in this home. It's just like, bro, can we get to the point? What is this theatre?
Literally.
It's so annoying. So it was 1980. Charity is 6 years old. We see a picture of her, and she is so cute. Like, she's such a cute little, pretty little 6-year-old.
I think she's still quite good.
I think she's pretty. Yeah, I think life has done its thing, but I do think she's very pretty. Yeah, but she's really cute. You know, just a cute little white girl. You know that just cute. Like, so her dad, Bobby Bennett, is killed in their home in Atlanta. His body is found in the doorway, face down, 4 gunshot wounds.
Ass up. So sorry, I had to say.
Oh my God.
So sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
What are we gonna do with you?
I just had to. If your face down gonna be ass up, sorry. I got it out. I've got it out now. You can say it again. I'll be fine.
Okay. I'm gonna move on. We're gonna swiftly on. So her mum, whose name is Kyla Bennett, and her dad were divorced at the time, but they still kind of lived together. Just so happens, though, that they remarried in Vegas 57 hours before Bobby was murdered.
What a coincidence.
Coincidence? I think not. So, what's her name? Kyla, the mum, is 29 at the time. And I'm like, rah, Kyla, like, you got away with murder at 29 years old. Mad thing.
That's literally like, well, it's not the age I'm at now. It's a few months off.
Okay.
That months is in, what do you call it? Small,
single digits.
Yes, in small, what's the word?
Okay, what is the point you're making? You're getting lost in your sadness.
I'm trying to make the point that although 30 is not far, I am still young. That's just the point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was related to Kyla. No?
No, it was more related to the fact that, like, at this stage I'm at right now, I don't think I could get away with murder.
Man, I just think that,
and
like,
she was also
had she gone
married
down,
with kids at that stage, and I'm like,
yeah, that's what took me out. That's what took me out. Yeah,
and here I is.
But then also it's like, had she gotten away? I mean, had she not gotten away with it, she would have been away for a very long time. Like, she's got to live a lot of life and enjoy a lot of things because she got away with this.
Yeah,
wild. So Kyle is the main suspect but they could never find the weapon or the gunman, so she's acquitted of murder, which is wild. And I just think, wow, this gunman, right? She must have really paid him well for him to not say anything, or it was her.
Dun, dun, dun. And it was like the 40s then, or was it 50s?
It was 1980.
Wow, I was way off.
If Charity was 6 in the 40s or 50s, bro, like, she would not look the way that she does now.
You know what? Yeah, whenever it's the videos start looking all black and whitish, I just assume it's like Second World War times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the 80s, man. These police officers were doing fuck all. They were all snorting coke.
They were just snorting coke and collecting bribes.
They were just snorting coke, eating donuts. Like, that gun probably was in the house right there. They didn't see it, so
yeah,
I'm not gonna put it down to like, ooh, good police work.
Oh, we see a previous interview of Kyla where she basically like admits to being manipulative and like manipulating the jury. Like, this is OJ. Like, she literally is doing the equivalent of If I Did It. Like, she literally is just out here media circus, just chatting her shit.
Have you seen that
like,
video of OJ where he's like, like with the...
Oh my God, what, recently?
No, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my God. Some woman is interviewing him, and then, like, I think the interview's finished and they're taking off the mics, and then he does like the stabbing motion and he makes it sound like and then he laughs and it's like, whoa.
When was this?
I'll find it and send it to you.
Was it recently? Was it ages ago?
On Instagram, huh?
Was it around the time?
I think it was after he got out of jail one of the times, because he went to jail for other things.
Yeah,
so,
they tried to get him on other things, innit? Cause
yeah. So it was one of the times. But
that is so wild.
That is so fucking crazy.
And I guess double jeopardy, like, so Kyla cannot be accused of this crime again because
she could literally come out saying, but yeah, I did kill him.
She come out saying, I mean, Double Jeopardy is one of my favorite movies, but the law itself is just so wild. Like, Kyla could shout on top of Empire State Building, "I killed Bobby," and no one can do shit.
Yeah. Double Jeopardy was an amazing movie, man.
It's one of my favorite movies.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So they go round and round, you know, they're asking Charity, do you think that, you know, your mum did it? And she kind of says, yeah, well, I forgive her. And it's like, and then she's like, oh, you know, me saying I forgive her, that clearly means I think that she did something. Basically, long story short, Charity thinks that her mum did it. She's forgiven her mum. So essentially, she's aware that her mum killed her dad and her child killed her child. And it's kind of like, why does murder surround you like this? Like, she needs to go to church.
You people don't know how to pray. That's your problem. I'll never forget that tweet.
Honestly.
That some people really don't know how to pray.
You really need to cast those demons and you really speak in tongues. So Grandma sends Paris graphic, violent novels to prison. And Charity's like, what the fuck? This is strange. And it's like they're both murderers, so I guess they kind of bond on that. Like, imagine if your grandma and yourself both murderers, you know. Obviously, grandma's probably a bit disappointed because it's like, bro, I got away with it. How did you manage to get caught, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, Charity, you can tell she really loves Paris, like, unconditionally. And like we said at the beginning, I can't say it could never be me. Hopefully, it would never have to be me. But a mother's love, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because
that sounds like a Tyler Perry play. A mother's love sounds like a Tyler Perry play.
Yeah, or Candy. Sounds like a Candy production.
Oh yeah. Didn't she have something called...
Did she? Maybe she did, actually. Maybe that's where it's coming from.
Either a mother's love or a mother's... It was a mother's something.
A mother's love, yeah.
Candy, please, take your hands out of some pies. It's actually too much.
Even her toes are in pies, you know.
Huh?
I said even her toes are in pies. Like, she literally, like, she doesn't rest.
She doesn't rest, and like she's literally like nothing she puts out anymore is of good quality because she's literally doing way too fucking much. Like,
she's doing way too much, but none of it.
It's like she
really
sucks all of the work ethic out of Sheree. That's why Sheree has not produced any joggers.
No, Sheree, September, spring, summer joggers.
No, she needs to fuck
How
off.
many September, spring, summers ago was that? That was
like 5. Minimum.
Many September, springs, and summers have passed.
Ciao.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So we have the same discussion regarding Paris. Does he feel remorse? Charity's like, no, he's kind of remorseful of where he is, not why he's there. I agree. That nigga don't care. So we meet this like doctor, scientist, she's a medical person, and she talks about the spectrum on basically caring from people, running from altruism to like proper caring, and all the way down to psychopathy, which is Paris. So we learned that there's this like fMRI scan which can look at specific areas of the brain. So namely the amygdala, which if I remember correctly, the amygdala is like the fear center, that's to do with fear in the brain or whatever. And so the lady says that you can see the activity even in children. And basically she says something like the less active that area is, the more likely they are to be a psychopath. And so Charity's like, listen to Paris, look, can you just have this fMRI done? And he always says no. And Charity thinks that he says no because then it will make it seem as though he's a psychopath, which he is.
Yeah.
And say, for example, he has a future parole hearings that could be used against him. Which, I mean, fine. Also, I've made a note here. Again, this seems very higgy-hagger because it is, okay? Because the documentary is. But Paris just chats shit. Like, he just talks in riddles. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. He just chats and answers the question going round and round and round. And then when you really sit back and think about it, you're like, you haven't said anything.
Yeah.
You haven't said anything.
Yeah.
So we learned a bit about Phoenix, who is a child that Charity had more recently. We heard about him in the other documentary as well, but now we hear a bit more. He has a serious heart condition when he's born, and apparently Paris cries when he hears this.
I think he faked it.
I don't think he can. I think he thinks, oh gosh, I hope the heart doesn't kill him before he gets a chance to. Because Paris, like, I'm like, you don't care. You don't even cry when you physically killed your sister. And then this your brother that you've never met has a heart condition. And now the tears flow.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
0 sense.
A strange guy. So now we get into the sexual aspect of this whole crime. He says that he didn't molest her, but he masturbated earlier that day. Which, as we said, he's 13 years old. What else was he doing around the house? Do you know what I mean? Like, okay. He's eligible for parole in 2027, which is not that far away.
Nope.
Like, he's going to be 33 years old. I mean, and just because you're eligible for parole doesn't mean that you're going to get parole.
I hope he doesn't.
Right, same. Paris says, this is one of the stupid things that he says. He's like, he loves his mum and the sound of her voice straightens his day even when it's crooked. You're just like, just shut up. Like, what are you even talking about? He talks like this. I mean, I guess all he does in there is read books because that's how he speaks. Like, he speaks like he's writing a novel that no one's going to read. Charity won't let Paris meet Phoenix. I think that's a smart idea because can he be trusted? No. We learn a bit about Charity starting the Ella Foundation, which is to discuss violence, mental health, childhood trauma, all the above. And Charity is better than me, boy, because I don't know how she goes on.
I think I would have laid in the spot where, like, I had crumpled in and just stayed there for the rest of life till God calls me.
Yeah. Until the hunger took me.
Yeah.
Very strange, but yeah, that's the end of the documentary. Wouldn't advise watching. I think we did a great job covering it. It's not really that deep of a watch. That's basically it. There's nothing more to research. I think it did a good job of filling in the gaps from the last documentary, which 100%. I guess is why we did it. But now it's time for
the real crime, I think, was the beard,
which is our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Have you got one?
Yes, and I think I said the same thing when Piers Morgan did his. It was the fact that Paris shaved off his hair. It did him no favours.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. The follicles for hair are still there. So it's almost like he did this so he can look even more like evil genius-y.
More menacing, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. He should grow back his hair.
He should try.
Yeah,
and he should get some new glasses. The crime for me was the way this documentary ended. Like, it had this random happy music. Like, you didn't even really get the end of the documentary. Did you not see it?
I thought something was wrong with my laptop. I kept rewinding it.
No.
But I just said to my sister, I feel like the person who posted it, because it wasn't posted from an official site. They were trying to advertise the music.
It was the person who posted it, because, like, literally, like, they come into the end of the documentary and, like, you can see Charity's lips moving, but then it's like happy music playing. I thought I was playing something from another tab.
They're trying to promote their music. Music.
I thought I was playing something from another tab. I was like, hold on a minute. And then I was like, I paused it and it stopped. And I played it and it started again. I said, okay, do you know what? This is it. I keep saying I'm done with YouTube documentaries and I keep coming back.
My sister was done. Like, never watch a documentary on YouTube again.
I'm done. The only YouTube documentaries that are worth watching are the BBC Africa Eye documentaries, because they're literally from BBC and they're put onto YouTube.
Yeah.
other than that, nah, stop it. I said, is this really happening? Like, literally, he said,
nah.
What is this happy music? This is not conducive to what we've just heard. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
At all.
At all. What are we doing next, baby?
Next, we are doing, what's it called? The Delhi?
It's the Barari deaths, something Delhi.
Okay, yeah. It's on Netflix.
That was very enlightening. No, do you know what? Let me be a dedicated podcaster. I'm gonna find out what it's called. Barari deaths, Netflix. Oh, House of Secrets, the Barari deaths.
Netflix. Okay, so you can go and watch it ahead, or you can wait for us to tell you about it next week.
Yes, so it's 3 episodes actually. So you should binge, and we're going to cover it probably in an episode.
We'll do an episode. I think we said we might do, like, depending on what we don't cover, we might do a little, like, credits, just like throwing some facts at you.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of that. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at 2girls1doc, 2girls1doc podcast on TikTok. You can find me on Twitter
at gmail.com.
Oh, yeah. So send us your reviews, and if we get enough, we will do a credits episode.
Have you checked the inbox recently?
I did. It's a lot of people telling us to put our podcast on their platform. It's nothing. Yeah.
Oh, no. Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we'll talk in a second. Yeah, sorry.
And then you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at 4ends with 2 underscores, and my other podcast, Character Replay. And you can find BD on Eyewear, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
okay.
Do you know, I've done this whole episode lying in my bed with my electric blanket on, and I feel so comfortable.
Must be nice.
It's not just nice, it's delightful.
I love that for you.
Okay.
All right, guys, we will see you next week, or speak to you, or you will listen to us. I don't know how it works, but bye.
You know how it works. They will listen to us. Bye.
In a horrifying incident, dead bodies of 11 members of the same family.
दिल्ली के बुराड़ी इलाके से आ रही है।
आखिर 3 जनरेशन एक साथ सुसाइड कैसे कर सकते हैं? और 11 लोगों का मर्डर होना ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है।
Obviously, some things went clearly very, very wrong.
There were 3 generations living in one roof. Quite a typical family.
ना ही ऐसी फैमिली मिलेगी हमें, और ना ही हमने देखी होगी ऐसी फैमिली।
जिस तरह से बेनियन ट्री की जो शाखाएं होती हैं, उसी तरह से वो कलरफुल दुपट्टे के अंदर लटके हुए थे।
एकदम से जो नजारा था अंदर घुसते ही फर्स्ट फ्लोर के ऊपर,
मेरे भी रोंगटे खड़े हो गए। देखिए, कहावत है कि जो क्राइम रिपोर्टर्स होते हैं उनके अंदर इमोशंस नहीं होते हैं, जैसे पुलिस वाले होते हैं ना, हम लोग भी अंदर से हिल गए थे।
And here is this entire family that hangs itself, at least that's what we are told, and we know literally nothing about it.
मन में टीस बड़ी उठती है। वो छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे, उन्होंने क्या देखा?
हम अक्सर अपने बच्चों की परवरिश वैसे करते हैं जब कहते हैं कि जो ये हमारे घर की बात है बाहर नहीं जानी चाहिए, घर की सीक्रेट नहीं जानी चाहिए।
कोई फिर क्वेरी एकदम, is it a suicide? Is it a murder?
And the answer is not simple. It's quite complex.